These are the forest-cloaked mountains of Costa Rica. This is cloud forest, one of the Earth's most special places. Drenched in moisture for much of the year, the forest provides a stable environment for thousands of rare and endangered species. Clinging onto the steep slopes at high altitudes, cloud forests have a significance which extends far beyond their mountain terrain.
These cloud forests are shields effectively on the tops of mountains, and they protect and manage the flow of water downstream. Take away that shield, you take away the trees, take away the soils, what you're going to end up with is flood one day, drought the next. We need these environments to protect the resources, the water resources in particular, of the people that are living in the lowlands down below.
A report released this week by the UN Environment Programme's World Conservation Monitoring Centre, together with IUCN and UNESCO, is the first comprehensive survey ever undertaken of the world's cloud forests. Released this week at a meeting of the Convention of Biological Diversity in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the report reveals that there's 20% less cloud forest in the world than has been previously thought.
We found that cloud forests are actually a really rare habitat, that out of all the world's tropical forests, they occupy only about 2% of that area, 380,000 square kilometres. And also we were surprised to find that most of the world's cloud forests are in Asia, about 60% of this area, whilst they're best known from the Americas, where about a quarter of the world's cloud forests are, and the remaining 15% are in Africa.
Cloud forests surround the peak of Mount Kenya in Africa. In a continent that's seen more than its fair share of drought, the ability of cloud forests to strip and retain moisture from cloud and fogs is vital. They provide abundant, clean and predictable water supplies in many areas, especially during dry seasons. River systems in the Mount Kenya area supply huge flower farms, exporting over 38,000 metric tons worldwide. Wildlife benefits too, as well as tourist activities, an important source of foreign currency. There are benefits further downstream. The forests of Mount Kenya send dry season water to the semi-arid lowlands, with the headwaters of the River Tana supplying water to 5 million people.
Some of the world cities which are very dependent on water from cloud forests include the capital of Honduras, Quito in Ecuador, and also Mexico City. And in Africa, the capital of Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, in the dry season is almost totally dependent on the water that comes from the mountain cloud forests.
However, the report concludes that many of these forests are threatened, highlighting nearly a dozen major threats in as many countries.
One of our greatest concerns is how those countries are able to manage those cloud forests, both for their own local needs, but also in terms of the global availability and continued maintenance of those ecosystems. We have examples in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea where the loss of cloud forests at the moment is very serious.
7 out of 10 Asian countries, including Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines, mention timber extraction and logging as a threat. In Africa, 10 out of 15 countries questioned said poaching and hunting of animals such as great apes was a key threat. Clearance of cloud forests for either illegal opium or coca leaf is reported in Colombia, Bolivia, Peru and Venezuela.
The most widespread threat to cloud forests is them being cleared by poor farmers to grow food for farmland. But also that cloud forests are exceptionally vulnerable to climate change. And as the temperature is rising, and there's evidence that it rises more in the mountains than the lowlands, so the clouds are moving up the mountain with the warmer air. So this is leaving the forests to dry out. And there's evidence that in Monteverde in Costa Rica, at a recent El Nino event, 25 of the 50 toads and frogs in the forest disappeared, and only 5 of them have come back since.
The report does offer some opportunities for hope.
Solutions to maintaining the cloud forests include setting up reserves and national parks in these areas and working with the local communities to be able to support them in farming in sustainable ways. And also, particularly for cloud forests, there's the opportunity of developing eco-markets for the services such as water that these forests provide. And there are some good examples of this in Costa Rica, where water bottling plants and also mini hydroelectric plants are paying a small tariff to the farmers and other people up in the cloud forest areas to maintain the forests, which are providing the clean water that they need.
Well, in many ways we still understand very little about cloud forests, and in many respects this report provides one way of bringing to the world's attention a better understanding both of the fact that they do exist, that they are rapidly disappearing, and most importantly the functions that they play in terms of our climate, water resource management and people's dependency on those systems functioning.